So my presentation is does the language used in menus in cheaper restaurants differ from the language used in menus of more expensive restaurants? A comparison of fine and casual dining by Adam Razak. So goals and justification. I enjoy food and the aspects of dining, enjoying wonderful company and fabulous foods. This research gave me the opportunity to further understand why the language used in restaurants are the way they are. I was also intrigued to know the differences and or similarities between many classes of restaurants. Having the experience to dine in both settings, I'm familiar with the research that I'm working on. So the focus in this research is about the language used and how the techniques differ from one restaurant to another. Specifically, in this research, is casual and fine dining. It is apparent that many restaurants use different linguistic features to promote and draw their products to the consumer. The language techniques that I'm focusing on will be the following: exoticizing, which is the use of sophisticated words to create a sense of uniqueness; minimalizing, the use of minimal amount of language; past participles, which is words that are form of verbs, usually ending in ed, and it's usually used in forming perfect and passive tenses; tasty adjectives, which are adjectives that don't necessarily refer to specifically of the methods of preparation. It's often in informative, yeah, and foreign language. The use of foreign language in menus, such as French or Spanish, Italian. The literature review. So I had chosen three types of literature articles to help me with this research. First is Dickerman's Mystery of Menu. It explains the different kind of languages used in menus. She further explains how there's different amounts of features that restaurants use to attract the customers. And uh, to the second one, Jurafsky, Language Food explains how there are many linguistic features on menus that differentiate between cheap, mid range restaurants and expensive restaurants. He explains that these techniques are used to tempt diners, creating a sense of promise for the customer. He also explains that with every positive word used, such as delicious, tasty, or terrific, reduces the average price of a dish by 9%. And lastly, Zwicky and Zwicky, they did a research that I did that is very similar to my research. They had done a study based on 200 different menus, and they indicated the language used in the restaurant. They also clarified the major difference in menus from restaurants that vary in price and how it correlates to the amount of descriptive materials used. Now, with my hypothesis and research question, my hypothesis, when it came to fine dining, I feel that there will be a consistent pattern of exotic and descriptive words involved while having very minimal language. While, on the other hand, with casual dining, there'll be more tasty adjectives, simplistic, and very straightforward wording. Furthermore, I have proposed a couple of questions that I believe are relevant to my research, and that are like, what is the difference between the language used between fine dining and casual dining? Are there any recurring techniques used in the language of menus between fine dining and casual dining? And are the linguistic features used between the two different classes of restaurants more similar or different? Will both restaurants use features like tasty adjectives or exoticizing to help attract better customers? Um, the materials and instruments used. So for this project, I used the web to find the menus of restaurants. The menus itself will also be the materials I'm using in this research. I've also created a table to record all the data found in this research, and I've also used a notepad and pencil. And here is a example of the table that I have created to tally my information. Procedure. So the procedure to do this research are as follows. I select 50 different menus from American restaurants using web pages like Yelp and Google Review. And what I did was with restaurants that had $2 signs and below, I classified as casual dining. And these restaurants, their main courses are priced between 12 to $28, while any restaurants above three dollar signs would be classified as fine dining, where their main dishes are priced between $20 to $50. I will then take a photo or download the menu, categorize the menu into the right class, make sure there is 25 of each. I will then transcribe the text from the menu, then tally the amount of words found into the respective categories. Then I will annotate the result into a table and analyze the results found. The type of data used that is involved is qualitative data, where I will analyze the specific words and relate to the category, and also quantitative data from tallying of the words found. When it comes to study limitations, there were certain limitations that I found while conducting this research, and that was by only using American restaurants. It did create a smaller sample size for both the language used in casual and fine dining. Another thing is fine dining restaurants, to a certain extent, may not provide their menus online due to their uniqueness. So narrowing it down, I would have to narrow it down. It will be a little more difficult to find the right menus for my research. And also, I feel that the fact that the sample size I'm doing this research is very small could lead to the data showing a trend that does not indicate proper relevant information of the greater dining population. Okay, and here are pictures of the menu that I use. Um, so before I go into the results, uh, in this research, the Bristol, which is the menu on your right, shows certain features like minimalizing, exoticizing, and past participle to capture the interest of the reader, while on the left, Sweet Carrot shows features like tasty adjectives and past participles in the menu. And here is a result of some of the restaurants that I have found and tabulated. Um, yeah, and so after tallying, I had constructed them into a pie chart and used percentages to describe the information found. What we can see here is that the casual restaurants, the linguistic features that I use more frequently are past participles and tasty adjectives. While um, when it comes to fine dining restaurants, the linguistic features used are more commonly with past participles, exoticizing, and foreign language. I feel that this is because when it comes to fine dining, the whole experience doesn't necessarily involve the food itself. The words that are found in these kind of menus act as tripwire for people who want to further dive their palate into more pleasurable experiences. On the other hand, casual restaurants are shown to be very straightforward, or they have lengthy sentences to draw customers and give them a sense of reassurance when choosing a specific dish. To conclude my research, so in conclusion, yes, language from cheaper restaurants are quite different compared to the expensive restaurants. Fine dining restaurants do use less descriptions and use many sophisticated words, while casual dining restaurants show the opposite, more descriptive. But through this research, it seems that up to 40% of the casual restaurants also use less descriptions. Therefore, it can vary depending on the theme. Yeah. Thank you for listening.